No, I'm going to
He
see
was
Gaston.
crying.
He was crying. He was being a bitch to me too. I'm going to see Gaston in January. I'm going to Argentina. He says he's going to take me to the mountains to see the Nazis, and we're going to go to see the glaciers. Are you still on,
Mm.
Maria? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
I'm
we're going
here.
to see the Nazis. We're going to see the glaciers, and I think we're going to go to some other thing like the beach or something. So I'll go see.
But
I'll get my Gaston time soon. Not to worry.
he's missing you so much. You will see him just in 6 months. It's long
Oh
time.
man, work has been crazy lately. But yes, next year is going to be different. I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting down work early next year. So I'm going to do, I think, CZ Extreme, Europeans, Australasians, and
Hmm.
I think Canadian nationals and Australian nationals. So that'll be the stuff I'm shooting outside
A
the
lot.
US. It is a lot. All right.
So,
Anyway, welcome to Practical
Mhm.
Shooting After Dark. My name's Ben. We're here to, I don't know, talk about practical shooting. Maria, we got a new show format, so you are now allowed to swear. If that's of interest to you.
okay.
You've always been allowed to swear in Russian. You are now allowed to swear in English. You know what I mean? Nobody would understand you if you swear in Russian, so that's always okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Good.
so
But
anyway, I'm
Ben, one more thing. Just
yes.
don't speak too fast. Yes, don't forget.
Don't worry about that, Maria. I'm not going to talk too fast. You'll be able to understand everything I'm
Yeah,
saying.
of course. Mhm. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm sorry. Okay, so obviously on we have Maria Yushina from well, you're coming at us from Moscow. So we're coordinating this across time zones, and then all the way on the Pacific coast, Mr. Hwang-sik Kim.
Yep. Kim here, Seattle.
Kim here. So yeah, so what, like a 9 hour spread or 10 hour spread from time zones? It's 9 p.m. for Maria, and it's only 11 a.m. So we got a 10 hour spread. It's an interesting day here. It's only after dark for practical shooting for Maria. It looks like it. The sun's not quite down yet. I see. For you, Maria,
Mm,
it's getting there.
yeah, it's getting yeah.
All right. Well, I've explained the show format to Maria. Everybody who comes here with a topic, and then we take some listener questions. So, who wants to lead off?
I can start.
Kim wants to start. What do you want
Yes.
to talk about, Mr. Kim?
So, ever since Carry Optics came out in the US, I started really loving it. And when I went to Czech Republic, I met a couple IPSC, I would say the high-ranking people, whatever.
What do you mean?
And
Are
like
you the executive director?
yeah, like directors, regional directors, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to a couple people about how they're gonna have an assembly in Thailand about the production optics division. So right now the rule is vague. And also when I shot US IPSC nationals, I shot production, but my friend shot, they even call it carry optics. The score set production optics. So basically they used USPSA carry optics rule in America. And when I saw production optics in Europe, it was completely different rules. So I hear they're trying to make production optics a real division, and then I heard all sorts of um, the rule suggestions from different regions. So I heard some people trying to make the magazine capacity to 15 rounds or 140 millimeter mags, just like the US. And they're thinking of either having the production no milling on the slide to get the optic on, or milling allowed. That was one of them. And another thing interesting uh, I heard is somebody is trying to make the trigger pull down to 2.2 pounds or 1 kilo. So the striker fire gun is no longer 5 pounds. So striker fire guns can have more advantage in production optics division. So they're trying to make the trigger pull down to 2.2 pounds.
Okay,
So
where
I
would
thought
you?
that was interesting.
Oh, well, the rules now are a shit show, obviously.
Yes. It's not really fair for striker fire gun because some striker fire gun is under 5 pounds from the box. So in that case, you have to put heavier spring in it, and people don't like that.
Well, where would you like to see this end up, Kim?
I think the 2.2 pounds trigger pull is very fair for striker fire guns, and also it will help the double action, single action guys to be, make the double action smoother, lighter kind of thing too.
So would
So I
you
think
want
that's a good thing.
Would you want USPSA carry optics rules to be the rule for production optics internationally? Would you like that?
Uh, Not exactly. I like 15 rounds.
Okay.
And I don't think 140 millimeter mag, because when we use 15 rounds, we can use same magazine for production and production optics. But if you have 140 mag, you cannot use it in production. So I think
Yeah,
that's
but if I use the 140 millimeter base pads on my guns, I can have the same base pad. I just put it
yeah,
on a different magazine. I can shoot limited and carry optics with the same base pad.
ooh, that's true.
Not that I think that bad. Maria, have you tried production optics?
Yeah, I can say that I tried because we made like some video for the CZ, so I tried, and it was not bad, of course, but it's for me, I think it's the same production, just with optics. I mean, you know, like Kim is interested in this division, but for me, it's not so interesting.
Is
Like,
there a different division you find more interesting
yeah,
that
for
has an
sure.
optic?
Yeah, of course, for sure. So for me, of course, it's more interesting.
Open is.
But
Uh-oh. Thought the internet's typically
yes,
good
yes,
when
yes.
I'm in.
But no, still,
Maria,
that's a good
I'm sorry.
opportunity.
Um, I'm sorry. You're cut out a little bit. Just repeat what you said for the last 15 seconds.
I already don't remember what I said, so it doesn't matter.
So, but do you think open is the best and carry optics is for poor people? Is that what I'm hearing you say? That's what it sounded like.
I didn't tell that, but for sure it will be easier for people to shoot in production optics. For sure, you know, it's less expensive. So,
Yes.
but you know, I think still a few years it will not be so popular class, so you can't compete there with the high level shooters, you know, and it's like not so interesting, for example, for me. So we'll see what will be, but right now I think it's the beginning of this division, and it's not so like interesting for me as for a shooter to join it. You know, I
Yes.
want to see which people will come, and maybe then it will be more interesting to compete there.
Will we be seeing you more in production or in open? Do you think in the next year?
I think the next year in open. I want, but you know, we'll see how it will happen. But of course, I want in open. I want to shoot Europeans in open, so that's why, you know, I want to train on some matches before
Of
to
course,
get
yes.
used to that. So I want open. Even this year, I will try as more as possible to shoot in open.
All right. So Maria, I think you're coming on. You're going to tell us about a match you did in Africa, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So saw the results. You did quite well. Maybe not as well as you would have liked. Maybe you want to beat on Robin.
For sure, you know.
Well, tell us about the match, and keep in mind most of our listeners are, Americans, so they don't travel around. They don't know. So tell them about this level 4 match in Africa. I'm
Okay,
curious too.
so first of all, you know, I was shocked that the match was really nice and very difficult. I think it's one of the most difficult matches I have ever shot in my
Whoa!
life.
What? So
Because, you
what
know,
made it so difficult?
just I will tell right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
You know, Ben, you traveled a lot in Europe and you saw that in Czech, for example, there were difficult matches. Like in Russia, that was not so easy. But there, it was completely different and very difficult. So, uh, you
Well,
know,
well,
there were.
in Czech and in Europe, what I notice is there's a lot more physical stuff, a lot of movement,
Mhm.
and a lot of complicated moving targets. But the shots aren't necessarily. There's not usually shots that are really hard to make just by itself.
Yeah.
Is that fair? But in Africa was different.
Yeah, it was different. You know, for example, in Czech, there were many movers, like different. On each stage, there is some swinger with no shoots, and so that made it difficult. And here, there were not so many swingers, but they had a lot of no shoot targets. And for example, they were standing like 25 meters, and there was a plate, like few plates on 25 meters, and like half of the plate was covered by no shoot, half of the plate. And you can't shoot this plate from any other position. You know, for example, from this place you will see it half, but if you will run 10 meters, it will be open. No, they didn't have it. So you used to shoot it like this. And for example, on one stage, on my first stage, we came and they were like this play
Oh, here we go again.
with
They gotta
4
fix these.
no poppers. And I was watching and thinking like, my God, so I can just lose this much after this stage, if I will shoot them all like easily, So that's why we used to be very careful on this match. And there were lots of targets like this, like far with no shoots, and people did lots of misses, no shoots, but you
How
can't
many
imagine.
penalties do you think the better shooters got in the match between misses, no shoot hits, things like that? Were people getting like 10 of them?
But look, I think like the usual was maybe 3 no shoots, 3 misses. I think it's like normal. Because some people were coming out in our squad like 4 misses, some stages, like
On one stage?
yes, on one stage. So it was
shit.
but no, it was really difficult. And that's why guys also asked us from Europe, like, do you think this match is difficult or we are shooting so bad? Like, is it true? Or we said, yes, that's really tough match, even for us. So no worries,
All right. Did you think it was maybe too tough or?
I think some stages were too tough, like some of them, but some were nice.
Okay. And you enjoyed the landscape and the food and everything? It was nice?
Yeah, the food was fantastic. We ate so many steaks as never. But the weather was terrible. Like in the morning, we started at 7, and it was very frozen, like +2 degrees. So we used to put some gloves. Yes, and then during the day, it was, I think, +25, something like this.
Jesus.
So that was,
Heats up a lot.
Celsius.
yeah,
2
so
degrees
that,
is like 36
Yeah.
degrees. That's cold.
That is very
yeah,
cold.
that was very cold. So what else was nice there? And the only one thing was like not nice for us. That's the time schedule. Like usually at the level 4, there are 2 shifts when you shoot like morning, afternoon, morning, and here we shoot just 3 days and full days. So we had huge squads, and we started from 7 and finished at 4:30. So that was very difficult. So all day we were at the
Jesus.
match waiting. Yes, and the worst thing that, for example, we shot a stage and it took us, I don't know, 25 minutes, all squad. And then we are coming to the next one, and they have during the schedule, like we must start at, for example, 1 p.m. But we came at 12:25, so they will wait till 1 p.m. They will not let us go and shoot. So that was not nice. That made us angry, all shooters, and we wanted to go back home faster, but we used to be on the range waiting. So that was not good.
Oh, I could see that being a little inferior. I had a similar thing happen to me at a match earlier this year, where it was they had us scheduled for, I don't know, lunch at some time, and it was hot as fuck at the match. I think it was, I don't know, 110 American degrees, and they made us like go to lunch and then come back to shoot one stage. It was infuriating. It was infuriating. It's like, God damn it. All right. Well, anyway, enough about that. Guys, I think we're running a little short on time. So how do you guys feel about going straight to some questions? I'll save my thing for another day. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Good.
Maria, you can field some questions for people. Let me pull this up. All right. All right, first one, here we go. I'm not slow over short distances between positions, but when I actually have to run like an ogre, and sometimes I find myself getting lackadaisical over longer movements, especially on stages with lower hit factors. I guess I just get into a go slower mode with my shooting, looking to get better points, and I have trouble not doing everything a little slower. Do you have any drill recommendations to help with that mental problem? On high hit factor stages, I feel like I don't have that issue and do everything fast. Thanks. Does everybody understand the question?
No.
All right, I didn't
Please.
think so. The guy worded this a little funny. All right, so on high hit factor stages, this guy runs and shoots fast. Okay. On low hit factor stages, he shoots slow, which would be appropriate for the low hit factor, but he feels like he moves very slow as well. And he's not sure how to fix that. Do you have any ideas, Maria?
Aha, so he doesn't want, he shoots slow and moves slow. So,
Yes.
but he would shoot slow and move fast. But you know,
Jesus. What's with this internet connection from her?
to understand that, do you hear me?
I'm sorry, go again with what you were
Do you
saying.
hear me? Yeah, okay. So, you know, I think that the main thing he needs to understand that during the shooting, there are two actions. Like first when we shoot and the next when we move. Like he needs completely to, how to say that? So for example, when he's shooting, he needs to think only about shooting, not about any movements. And when he moves, he needs to control his body and to push, you know, like forget about everything, just run. I mean, to divide these two actions. So, you know, there are no special exercises for that. He needs just to understand and try that. Shoot and then run as fast as possible. Like,
Instead of putting them together?
yes,
one
like
thing?
do not think too much about your shooting, how you shot that target and so during run. I mean, just know that during running you need to run, not to slow down and go, you know?
So if you're his coach, you'd like follow him with a stick or something to hit him if he's
Yes,
too slow?
or something like this. Or, you know, a stapler to push the stapler.
Jesus.
So whatever.
It's great. Kim, you have anything to add to that? Nice.
Yes.
It's a fair answer. Good.
So I had this issue in the beginning of my shooting career too. So when the hit factor goes low, the accuracy is now more important. And one local shooter told me, hey, if it's a lower hit factor, you need to hit alpha, so go slower. And that was kind of stuck. And then when I watched my video, I actually moved slower too. And then how I fixed it is maintaining that focus level. So when I shoot high hit factor, hosing really fast shooting, I really focus hard to see faster. But then how I fixed to really focus on the lower hit factor too is not slowing down or anything like that, but I try to see fast also, but what I see is different. So in high hit factor, I try to see a lot of target focus and blurry front sight to shoot really fast. But in lower hit factor, my focus level is the same, but the clarity of the front sight now changes. So I try to see a little bit more clear on the front sight if it's a lower hit factor. So in my walkthrough, I purposefully like open my eyes and make a battle face, you know, like shooting face in my walkthrough. So I'm actually programming myself not to like, oh, shoot habit or leisurely. I'm trying to really intensify still if it's a lower hit factor too. And what Maria said about like, you know, stapler or whip them and punish them, I think that's a good way to make a person stay focused and intensify. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm telling this guy to actually intensify even if it's a lower hit factor. So maintain that focus.
I'm not going to do that. I think Maria might have a better chance of getting away with it if students turn up to one of her classes and she's got like a whip and a taser. And
I think you need to edit Ben into your program. Like,
I'm glad I can't hear what she's saying right now. She wants to say something.
you know,
Yes, I will edit whatever you just said into the program, Maria. We'll take care of that for you. All right. One more question. I think we should do it. New to the podcast. I am only caught up on the last 6 months. Numerous times I've heard each of you deny that you are naturally talented. Maria, just to get you on record, are you talented at shooting? Would you say?
I don't know.
Yes or no?
I don't.
Don't think about it too hard.
It's better you to say. I don't know.
I'm not asking if you're good. I'm asking if you have natural talent.
Maybe.
Okay. Maria says maybe. Most of us say probably not. Okay. I understand no one comes out of the womb, attends a classifier match, and becomes an instant GM. But I'm wondering if there are any shooters out there you would claim are naturally talented or gifted, whatever that means to each of you. So Kim, can you think of any naturally talented shooters? You don't have to name them, but can you think of them?
Yes.
Would you put yourself
Yes.
in the naturally talented group?
Not at all. Yes, I know this person, he's a pro, and I heard how much practice he puts in. It's like none, almost none. You zero the sight and maybe shoot like a box of ammo 50 rounds and then goes to the match. And then this guy is an actual national champion. He won single stack once
Yeah, that's
or
Phil.
twice, something like that. Yeah.
That's Phil.
And then
Like,
I think people like that are very talented.
yes, there's a few talented people I've encountered, especially in class settings, where you look at a guy and you're just like, how much practice have you done? How long have you been doing this? And they're phenomenal. And it's like, okay, you have that talent thing, but you have to do all this training and all this work to develop yourself until you could actually win some big matches. So even with talent or with natural gifts, there's still a lot of work that people typically have to do. I don't know. Maria, why do you say you're maybe talented?
But I know the people who push less. I mean, who train less, for example, and they have like better result as I am, for example.
It's because they don't care as much.
Maybe, of course, maybe, but still, I think there are some people who physically, for example, are better as I am, and but also I think I am not bad. But for example, if you see some people, you immediately can say if he has some physical work during when he was a child, for example, yes, because you are watching how someone is running or doing whatever, and he's this shooter, for example, like a wood. And for him it's more difficult to make these physical conditions. And some people you love to watch, they moves nice and
Oh,
Yes, moves nice.
this
so
internet
I think this
connection
is
is
also
ridiculous.
yeah,
Sorry, you were
terrible.
breaking up.
When did I finish? I mean, what to
You
You
repeat?
said some people
said you
move
move
like wood
nice.
and some people move nice. So you kind of made your point. And you
Yes,
like to
so I
watch
mean,
the people that move nice. I like to watch the
yes, I
people that
mean,
move like wood. That's
I
more
mean,
entertaining to me.
no, I mean it's more natural. So and for example, in IPSC, I think these physical conditions like works a lot. I mean, you have to be good to run nice. I mean, you understand me what I mean.
Of course,
So
yes.
yeah, I hope.
Yeah,
I
some
hope
people
so.
have that athleticism and the talent.
Yes.
Some
So
people
this
don't.
this this also works. And of course, in shooting, for example, I do not shoot a lot, but still, for example, for me, it's enough if to train, for example, 2 times a week, 200 rounds, and I will still be on the same level. And some people, they can't afford it. I mean, if they will shoot, for example, only those 200 rounds a week, they will lose their positions. I mean, they will shoot worse. So about this, we can say that who is naturally talented or not. So for me, it's normal just to train a little bit, but still to be in the same conditions.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that pretty much answers it. Uh, Thank you so much, Maria Wanser, for coming on. Listeners, if you have a question you want the answer to, go to bensteger.com. Send me your question. We'd love to address it. Yeah, that's